teacher's experience. During the whole Black Lives Matter resurgence after the death of George Floyd, I was teaching all online in Scotland when schools were closed. And so I decided to explore anti-Black racism in the English curriculum to engage pupils who most of them wanted to learn more about Black Lives Matter and talk about these issues. But interestingly, there were a couple of pupils who were a bit resistant and who didn't see why Black Lives Matter was relevant to the English curriculum, even though they felt strongly about it, as they told me. They thought it was more of a modern studies subject or something that should be done in social sciences, but English doesn't have much to do with Black Lives Matter. So I think it's really important to think about how you frame things when you meet this resistance. So I basically use the whole decolonial thought to challenge this and think about how racism seeps into every aspect of our society, including literature, especially literature, which is where all these narratives are created about Black people being inferior and white people being superior. So that's where it should be challenged in the classroom. So getting pupils to think more critically about whose stories are presented, and when we do get stories about Black people, especially, why are they often portrayed as white savior narratives? So why is it that there always needs to be a white person saving the Black person? So lots of English teachers love to point out that they teach an anti-racist text such as To Kill a Mockingbird, written by a white American, from the perspective of a white girl whose father is a white lawyer saving a Black man during the Jim Crow law institution. So we really need to question what we understand by anti-racist, thinking about whose stories, whose agency is presented, are the stories of Black people presented in a humanizing way, and understanding that those narratives that are dehumanizing contributes to our internalizing of racism, of anti-Blackness especially, and how that anti-Blackness in worst case scenarios can lead to the death of a Black person. So really presenting decolonizing the curriculum as something that isn't just about destroying the status quo, burning all the books, and threatening white people. It's actually about inviting also white people to realize how important it is both for white people to have a shared humanity with Black people and people of color, to realize that we are one human race biologically, but because of society and the way society is constructed, we are categorized in different ways that tend to dehumanize Black people. So being prepared to have those conversations with parents, with pupils, and thinking about how we approach those conversations. So especially if it's parents complaining, then we have to think about the emotions that come into play. So the white fragility, how can we navigate that white fragility? And sometimes we have to pick our battles or slightly adapt our language so that they start to see our perspective and take on board the messages that we're trying to promote in decolonizing the curriculum.